Hi, everyone. In this interview, I'm speaking with Melisa Boutin, a certified financial education instructor. Today, we're speaking about personal finance tips for college students. Melissa, thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me, Jackson.
So, when it comes to money, college students have a lot to think about. Let's start with everyday spending. So, do you have any tips to help students create weekly or monthly budgets?
Yes, sure. Students should definitely have a budget. That's the first big step. Everyday spending is usually an area where people get tripped up and lose track of. So, my advice would be to start with a monthly budget. So, what your expenses are in terms of what you're going to need to buy food for the month. If you have a cell phone bill, try to include everything that you're going to spend for a month. Once you have come up with the different categories and the amounts, then from there, you can break it down on a weekly basis. So for example, if your cell phone bill is due on the 15th of the month, you know that for the first week, you won't need to spend money on that budget item. However, by the second week of the month, you will need to spend that. So starting with the monthly cost and then breaking it down by week is a good way to start with budgeting for everyday expenses. I'll also like to add that a key part of making sure that that budget works is to keep track of what you're spending versus what you plan to spend. So we spoke about having your spending laid out on a weekly basis. So once that week has passed, going back and checking and see that, did I spend the amount that I planned to? And if you didn't, make adjustments for the following week. So by the end of the month, we'll be in line with the total monthly budget.
Great. So it always helps to have some sort of income, of course. So do you have any tips on how students can earn a little bit of spending money while not sacrificing their studies? Are there any part-time jobs that you would suggest?
So having an income is definitely essential for college students, especially to help them avoid credit card debt and avoid having to use student loans for those day-to-day expenses. Of course, being in college, the main goal is to get your degree. So you want to avoid looking at a job that will take away from your studies. It's good to start on campus, although, now that we're in a pandemic, a lot of students aren't on campus. However, there may still be opportunities that students can find through their college job boards. Every university usually has like an alumni arm or an annual fund arm, which is a department that focuses on raising money from alumni. And usually that is a telephone job where you make calls to former students on the phone, asking them to commit donations to the school. So that's one area that is very flexible, is at the school, and it would definitely fit into your class schedule. Another job that might be good for college students is becoming a brand ambassador for your college campus. There are different brands that would allow you to make a flexible schedule and to promote their brand on campus or to your campus network. And ZipRecruiter, which is a website that has different job posting, even for full-time jobs, internships, but also brand ambassador opportunities. That's a place that college students can look for those type of jobs that would fit into their class schedule.
Great. So before students graduate, it's important for them and their families to develop a plan to pay off their loans. So do you have any tips on how students should go about creating these plans?
The first tip is to stay on top of what loans you have. So as a family, parents and the college students, keep track of where the loans that your student or you as a student borrowed from. What are the federal loans versus private loans? Who are the lenders? How much have you borrowed, by every semester? What's the total amount you have outstanding? Just staying on top of what loans you actually have is the first step in creating a plan. Secondly, college students should make sure that they sign up for their online account with their lenders. So for federal student loans, that would be studentaid.gov. Studentaid.gov is actually the hub that gives you all the information about what grants and federal loans you were awarded, as well as what is the status of your loan, what the balance is, what the interest rate. So you want to make sure that you have an online account set up so you can make it easy to keep track of your federal student loans. And then when it comes to your private lenders, you would have to actually go to each private lender. So if your private lender is Sallie Mae, you would have to sign up on salliemae.com for the private lender's online account. That just makes sure you can keep track of the loans and also make sure that the lenders have the most up-to-date address and contact information for you when they are sending those statements or any notices. Secondly, students should keep their parents involved, not only for making a plan to repay, but understanding what repayment plans are out there. So even before you graduate, understanding which student loans have income-based repayment options, where as a new graduate, if you're looking for a job and it's taking you a while to find employment, or the starting salary that you have would make it difficult for you to make a standard repayment, educating yourself with your parents on what repayment plans are there for each of your student loans. With that information, you can come up with a strategy for whether you want to prioritize paying off your private loans once you graduate versus your federal loans, making sure that you enroll into income-based repayment plans that are available for federal loans and things of that nature.
Great. So if students do have the option, should they start paying off their loans while they're still in college, or would it be a good idea to put any extra money in a savings account until they have to start paying off their student loans?
So for that question, I would say it depends. Once a student is transitioning, out of college, they may have limited funds. So it may be a smart move to put those funds into a savings account first. And then once the student has graduated and has gotten full-time employment, then those savings then could be put towards paying on the student loans in a lump sum. If that is not a concern, meaning you don't have a concern of being tight on funds once you graduate, and you have the support of your parents or family who would assist you in paying down student loans, it would be a good idea. And if you have private loans and the federal loans, prioritize paying down your private student loans first, because those student loans don't have any forgiveness options or income-based options. So if you do have the funds available, that won't impact you negatively to put them towards your student loans while you're in college, you should go ahead and do that and then pay it towards the private student loans first.
Great. Well, thanks, Melissa, for joining us today.
Thank you.
If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. And for more interviews like this, please subscribe. Have a great day, everyone.